All right. How you guys doing? This is Steve Larson, and you're listening to Secret MLM Hacks Radio. So here's the real mystery. How do real MLMers like us, who didn't cheat and only bug family members and friends, who want to grow a profitable home business, how do we recruit A players into our downlines and create extra incomes, yet still have plenty of time for the rest of our lives? That's the blaring question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Steve Larson, and welcome to Secret MLM Hacks Radio. Woo! I love that intro. I put that together. I did a lot of music-related things growing up, and I always loved mixing music and putting it all together. When I was about 8 years old, my mom, she was teaching piano lessons like crazy out of our house. And it was really kind of cool. I loved it because all these kids would come over and they'd be learning. And while my mom would be teaching these piano lessons, I'd get to go play with all these other kids. And it was awesome. I remember that very vividly. It was just a lot of fun and really enjoyed that a lot. Now, what shocked me, though, is that when I turned about 8 years old, suddenly the tide shifted and she wanted to teach me piano. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. All these other kids are doing it. I'm excited about it. This will be great. You know, really, really enjoy that. This will be a lot of fun. And I started practicing, and you start out at a really small level, and just like with anything, you kind of suck at the beginning. It's the same with anything in life, right? As soon as you start, you're gonna suck at it. Why? Because you've never done it before. And as you keep moving forward and doing it, you start to suck less, and eventually you suck less so little that you actually become good. That's a quote from Garrett White. And that's exactly what happened. Is I was practicing and I was really enjoying it. I was feeling the progress. I was feeling all the. I was feeling progression. I was feeling, which is in my mind, one of the keys to happiness is feeling progression in whatever you're doing. And so I was excited about it. I was learning different songs. I was learning, that, oh my gosh, especially as the years went by, about 4 years went by. I was learning, wow, I could woo some of the young girls around me also, and get some attraction that way. You know what I mean? I was enjoying it, but when I turned about late 12s, 13s, I started hating it, and I think a lot of it was because, it wasn't cool to have my mom teaching me piano. I think that was part, and I just so regret the fact that I did not continue doing that. And for several years there, I was like, piano, like I'm not going to do that. I'm too cool for that. I was going through that teenage phase, and regrettably, I walked away from it, much to the dismay of my mom, of my mother. And she kept teaching piano, and I kept saying like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. What was funny is so about 4 years went by. So I played for 4 years, and then about 4 years went by, and I realized like how cool it really is to stick with something and get really, really fantastic at it. And my younger brother has stuck with it for a long time, and he's just insanely awesome at the piano. And I have total jealous rage over it. He's awesome at it. Extremely, extremely good. Like he's going to get recognized by like states and stuff like that. Now, he's quite good for his age and stuff like that. And so anyway, what happened was I realized it was awesome. And so what I did is I picked it back up. And I was 16 and I started self-teaching. And I started getting interested into it for the sake of the thing, rather than anybody else really caring that much. I just loved the actual act of playing the piano. And I started learning it, and I started working on it, started getting good again. And what was funny is I remember I always loved it when I'd go to other people's houses, or I'd go, there were like churches, or I'd go to, in different classrooms in high school, the music area. I would go there and I would start playing the piano. And what was so funny to me is that sometimes the pianos were just amazing. They were incredibly expensive instruments, massive grand pianos, and I could play on them, and it was gorgeous music, and you could definitely hear the difference in the keys. You could definitely, and it was amazing. It was so cool. I promise the story's going somewhere very key. Just bear with me for a second, okay? And I was like, this is fantastic. This is so cool. Holy cow. And then I'd go on someone else's piano, and it would be slightly out of tune. But what was funny is that sometimes being slightly out of tune would be like its own artistic flair, and it actually would make it sound cool in its own way also. And I'd be like, oh, interesting. This is like a really, really cheap piano, and it's very, it's out of tune a little bit, but this song actually sounds kind of cool. It's slightly out of tune or whatever it is. And I realized something, that that there were these people, these other kids that would walk up and they'd play the piano and they were like crappy, really bad, but they'd boast really good skill. Like, I'm so good, I'm super good at it. But they'd sit down and they weren't very good. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, you have this really expensive piano, but you don't actually play it very well at all, whereas the piano we were playing on, it's not that it was bad, it's just it wasn't really that nice either, and it started getting out of tune. But this is something that really stuck with me. I realized that it didn't matter that the piano I was playing on was a little bit old or out of tune just a little bit. That didn't affect my ability to play. That didn't affect my ability to go run out there and be self-driven and solve problems on my own. That didn't affect meaning I didn't have to blame other people. I didn't have to blame external factors, for my success, whether or not I was actually going to be successful with it. And my skill level had nothing to do with the quality or brand of the piano. That had everything to do with my devotion to the instrument. Okay, now what does that have to do with MLM? Everything. That has everything to do with MLM. I realized when I was first, remember I told you in the very first episode of this podcast that I joined and I got 13 people in my downline, and it was a really cool experience and it was awesome and I really enjoyed it. And then they did nothing. And I was like, oh man. And I started getting discouraged. And about 3, 4, 5 months in, 6 months in, 7 months in, then I started like getting even more discouraged, and more time passed. And within the year afterwards, I just full out quit. And I remember distinctly thinking that it was the MLM's fault. And I was like, oh my gosh, this MLM like sucks. It's nuts. Like, this is terrible. Look at those other guys over there, that other one, right? Green grass is always, grass is always green on the inside of the hill. Remember that? And I would go, man, those guys over there, they've totally got it made. Like, look at their comp plan. Look at the commissions that they get. Look at X, Y, and Z, right? Now, in all reality, did the brand of the piano matter? Yeah, like 10%, like not much at all. There was this extra 10% beautiful layer that got added on top of it, but the music still sounded good if it was on a cheap piano, so it didn't matter what brand it was. It's the exact same thing with whatever MLM you're in. It's the same reason you'll never hear me say the name of the MLM that I'm in right now. I'm just not going to tell you on this podcast what I'm in. That's the exact reason why, is because I know if you love the MLM that you're in, good for you. That's your instrument. You're getting good at that one. That's awesome. Your skill level has nothing to do with the MLM that you're in, like 10%. It has everything to do with your skill level. And what is the skill level that you're working on? Marketing. All right, marketing. It's a very, very big hole. There's one other aspect that I realized. It's not just marketing for me. What I realized, it was that, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. So I realized that there were ways to auto-recruit people using sales funnels, and that I needed to market to people rather than prospect to people, right? That's kind of a recap of the last 3 episodes thus far. And what I realized is that I need to have, so what was the system in place? What was the system? I realized all these other MLMers, these top guys, they weren't doing home meetings, they weren't doing hotel meetings. Like, hey, so what do I actually need to go build? And what I did is I sat down and I started using a software called ClickFunnels. And I'm not going to go promote tons of stuff to you guys, just so you know, but ClickFunnels is the freaking bee's knees. It is so awesome. It used to take me weeks to build out what it takes me a day to do in ClickFunnels. It's amazing, and it's so awesome. Anyways, if you want a free trial to that, just let me know, and I'll drop it over to you. But what I realized is, so I went and I created this system, and I put the system together based off of what I saw the top people in MLM doing. Right? And so I had a cool quiz. That was the first page somebody landed on. I had a cool quiz on the internet on a little page there, because they did, right? And I went through and I made this cool quiz. And all it was meant to do is get people into the state to go to the next page. I didn't even collect the data. Then on the next page, I said, hey, if you want, here's this cool little CD. It'll teach you how to create, a funnel. It'll teach you how to create a funnel that you can use to help, recruit people into your MLM. It's just $7, right? And a lot of people are buying. They're still buying that. And more people buy it today, which is awesome. It's constantly working for me in the background. It's awesome. Then the next page of the funnel is, hey, you know what? Here's a complete funnel that's already done for you. you know. Then on the next one, hey, you know what? Here's if you want to learn how to get some more traffic, or if you want to learn how, you know, here's that part there too. And what's funny is I built this whole system out. It took me about 8 months to do it, and I put it all together. And I went and I saw the other training materials other MLMers were doing, and I saw the videos that they were doing, and I transcribed them and I made them my own. I changed them and I tweaked them and I made it my own, and I put my different spins on them. And I recreated the videos, and those videos are what's at the secretmlmhacksradio.com. That's what's there. It's free videos. You can just have them. There's nothing afterwards. I'm not trying to upsell you anything. I'm not trying to. It's literally just for your education. I've never done that before. So anyway, I think you'll really enjoy it. But I want to. There's a point to it. I'm not pitching you. There's a point to it. I started going, and remember last episode I said, guys, there's a huge difference between sales and marketing. And there's another huge difference between a product and an offer. Okay? Now this is like marketing 101. Okay? This is stuff that I didn't even learn in my marketing degree, yet it's made all the difference and it's made the money for me that it has, which is awesome. The difference between those four things is huge. So what's the difference between sales and marketing? Well, I was doing door-to-door sales, right? Sales, according to Joe Polish, and marketing are very different like this. What he said was sales is what happens in front of your face. When somebody walks up to you, what do you say face to face? It's what happens face to face. You know, what do I say there? That's what sales is. You know, it's closing the sale right there and face to face. Marketing is any action you take to get them to your face. Right? It's whatever gets them to walk up to you. It's right, marketing pulls. It's all the actions you take to pull up there. Posting crap on Facebook about what you drank and what you're doing at the gym is not marketing. All right? That's not marketing. That's prospecting. That pushes people away. I swear, if my wife sees one more person and invite her to a home party where they're going to get to try someone else's product for free, like she's going to just start shooting. Like she is, I'm so tired of those tactics. It's ridiculous. It's one of the reasons why I'm making this podcast and why I'm putting out this content, because I found a different way to do it and it works way more effective, and you don't ruin relationships as you do it, right? So number one, we market, we don't prospect, and the marketing pulls people and helps pull people to us. Sales is what happens face to face, and that's the part I really like to automate. I can automate both those parts, sales and the marketing, but especially the sales. I don't really like to talk face to face. I don't really like doing sales. I love stage presenting, but I hate doing face to face one-on-one sales. It drives me nuts. Anyway, so when I realized, like I said, the difference between sales and marketing, huge. All right, I'm trying not to go into too much technobabble. Stay with me real quick. Here's the other aspect. When I launched my automated system, it failed. You're like, what, Stephen? What qualifies you to be doing this? What qualifies you to be teaching these people and teaching us, like, what it is you're doing? Well, the reason why is because it failed and I walked away from it. I was like, dang it. I went and I recreated this whole system from all these top MLMers and it did nothing. Why did that do nothing? That is the weirdest thing. That's what all the other top guys are doing. How come I'm failing at it? And what I ended up doing was walking away out of pure frustration. It took me 8 months to build this thing, and I walked away completely defeated, thinking that I had failed. And I walked away, and I completely forgot about it. Well, literally months and months and months later, probably a solid, 6 months later. I mean, it was a while. I can't remember. It might have been 6 months. Regardless, it was a long time, right? This guy comes out to me. And he's like, dude, I stumbled across your thing. I don't know really how he found it. I stumbled across it. Holy crap, dude. Why aren't more people using this and seeing this? And I was like, kind of taken back. I was like, how did you find this? Are you kidding me? Like, it's in this dark corner of the internet. It's on these web pages. Like, I put it up. I know it's not a normal thing to do in the MLM world. Like, I just kind of forgot about it, to be honest. He goes, no, are you kidding? Like, this is the coolest thing ever. This has changed my life. This is amazing kind of stuff. This kind of stuff is not out there, but the kind of stuff that's needed. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I did it. And he goes, dude, I bought your thing. I'm using it. It's awesome. And I won't say his numbers on here because I don't want any kind of income claims, but he was spending like $5 a day on Facebook ads, and he'd pull out a couple $100 a week in paid prospecting, regardless if someone joined his own MLM downline. And I was like, that's super cool, right? He had the marketing piece. He had the sales piece. Those parts were all automated. But for me personally, why did that fail at the beginning? And it actually really didn't do that well for a little while. And the reason why is maybe I should have done a separate podcast about this because I don't want this to go too long, but just bear with me for a second. Okay, stick with me. This one concept changed everything for me. The difference between a product and an offer. What I was doing is I was selling a product. I was selling the one thing. I was selling the MLM recruiting system, right? And it was just that one thing. And I was like, cool, that's interesting. And I thought it was good enough, right? You have your MLM product. And it didn't sell very well. It didn't, for some reason, it just didn't sell well. Not many people bought it. And I was like, this is amazing. How come nobody's actually getting it? And the one guy bought it and he's like, this is awesome. You know what? I wish that you included X, Y, and Z with it. And I was like, that's really good feedback. So I went and I created it and I added it to the other products. So when they bought the product, I got this other thing with it too. Well, guess what? My sales went up. Craziest thing. And other people started hearing about it and started buying it. And it started, and I started getting more and more feedback from people. They're like, this is really cool. And so is that other thing. But I wish I had this third thing. And I was like, that's a really good idea. I should go make that. And I went and I put that aspect together and I put those pieces together and I included it. So when you got the main product, you got two other things with it now. And crazy again, my sales went up. Third, and then again, over and over and over. You can see where this is going. And pretty soon it was like this waterfall of paid prospecting cash that started coming in. We went on a cruise. It was nuts. We were pulling $2,000 a day sometimes, or in a week, and it'd be $2,000 in a day, $1,000 a day, $1,000 a day. It's like, holy crap. These people haven't even joined my MLM yet. And what was crazy is I wasn't pitching the MLM. I wasn't going around and trying to beg people to get in. I wasn't walking around malls. It was totally automated. These people were giving cash. They were paid prospects. But at the same time, man, I got right now, I still have 15 people begging to join my downline. I just haven't, pulled them in yet. I haven't gone in and finished the sign-up process with them. And so currently, as I'm making this episode, it's hilarious. And I was like, whoa. That totally happened. That worked. And I was like, why did that work? Why did that work? I'm very introspective as an individual. It's like, why did that work? How come that worked? I understand why the difference between sales and marketing, that's the part I automated. That's the system I created. But why is it that I went and how come it's working now? And what I realized is that people want to buy offers. They don't want to buy products. They don't want to buy just a product or just a service. Have you ever gone to, it's kind of a goofy example, but have you ever gone to Sports Clips? Sports Clips is a haircutting place, and you go in there and it's not just a haircut. You go in there, it's a haircut for dudes, but you go in, mostly for guys, you go in and you sit down and they give you a haircut, but then after that they wash your hair, but then they put hot steam towels on your face and they massage your scalp and your face and they put put you in this vibrating massage chair and they put you and they'll do it's really, really interesting. It's like a manly spa, you know what I mean? And I love it. It is the coolest part. And what they did is they took a boring product, haircuts, and they made an offer out of it. And the problem with most people in MLM is they don't have an offer, right? You out of the box are exactly the same as thousands of other people. You have the same product, you have the same websites, you have the same marketing material. You are literally carbon copy as everybody else out of the box with MLM products. Why would somebody join you? You know what I mean? And that's what I realized. Oh my gosh. The reason people are buying it is because I made my MLM, I made my recruiting system into an offer. I made myself different. I carved out my own niche. Nobody else is doing it. And I was like, wow, that's nuts. And it started blowing up and started going nuts. And that's why it's been successful and why I've had so many people join. And again, I don't want to dive into numbers. That's not the purpose of this. I'm not trying to make myself look awesome. I'm just trying to help you see where the holes in MLM are. And that they do exist, and that MLM out of the box is already broken. And if you want to be successful, that you have to set yourself apart. You can't sell just a product or service. You need to turn it into an offer. Add stuff in of your own, and say, hey, when you join the MLM, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. And I'll dive into that a little bit later of how I do that and why I do that. And how I found to be successful in places where I know it's not successful, right? But you need to be different than everybody else. And how are you going to do that? Why would I join you versus all the other people out there? And that's what I realized. It's not the piano. It's the operator. It's the artist, right? It's the pianist. What's your skill level inside of MLM? What's your skill level inside of business? Most people, when they first join in, especially MLMs, a lot of people in MLMs, again, stereotypically, typically have not done that much in business. And the problem is that they go, a lot of people will go out and they're thinking, they got visions of piles of cash, which is great. But most of the time when a person is focused on cash, they don't make any. But when a person is focused on marketing, they make money. Okay? If you want significance, you can't seek it. If you want cash, you can't seek it. You have got to seek how to market. And every time I do that with a $1 million company, we just launched something a little bit ago that's unrelated to MLM. And within 2 months, I made $1 million. And it's awesome. But you want to know why? It's because we marketed the crap out of it. And it took us 4 or 5 times to relaunch to actually be successful with it. And we've done that many times. And most of the time when we launch something, it's not successful. When you first get MLM out of the box, it's not successful. You're not set up already for success. You are the exact same as everybody else. And the way you get around that is by creating an offer and getting obsessed with how to market it, right? How do you get people in front of your face? And I wanted to automate systems to do that, and that's exactly what I've done. And so if this is interesting to you at all, I'm sorry this has gone 20 minutes, but if this is interesting to you at all, I am so passionate about this because most of the industry, in my opinion, right out of the box is broken. And it doesn't work. And people are not set up for success. And it's not their own fault. And it's not even the upline's fault. It's that most of them don't know. And they all got big where they are, a lot of them, by building automated funnels, automated recruiting. They do things that shift from focusing on converting one person at a time to lots of people at once, right? And that's how you go from 6 to 7 figures. That's how you build it. And so anyway, you guys can tell I'm really passionate about this topic, and I totally am. And it's the reason why I'm decided to podcast about it. Because after about the 12,000th question about it, I was like, okay, I got to make a place where everybody can see why I'm doing what I'm doing and how it's working, and why it's been such a success and such a starving need for the industry. Okay, and how it works. So if not approaching family members and friends and still being successful is interesting to you, then go to secretmlmhacksradio.com and go get the 5 videos that teach you more about what I'm talking about right now. A lot of the content that I'm talking about right now is way more in depth on those videos. They're for free. You don't even hear the podcast, you don't even hear the MLM that I'm in. I'll never tell you on this podcast what MLM I'm in. And it's so that it's purely educational to help people get back on their feet with their MLMs. MLM is a great thing. I really enjoy it. There's a lot of personal development that comes from it, but there's still this massive business side of needing to turn a dollar. And if you're the kind of person who's been going, thinking that's the instrument, and you've gone opportunity to opportunity to opportunity, no, it's got to be that one. It must be that one. It must be that one. That's not true. It's the skill level. It's the operator. It's user error. And the way to get around it, like I was saying, you got to learn to obsess over the marketing. You got to learn how to create offers, and you will set yourself apart from everybody else in the industry. Anyways, guys, you can tell I got kind of passionate about this one, but it's a big, big deal. And this is worth figuring out. It's worth you having the life that you should have to go figure this out. You owe it to you. You owe it to your message. Now, so anyways, go get those videos at secretmlmhacksradio.com. And guys, I will check you, please check out the next episode, and I will see you there. Hey, thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback for me. Do you have a question you want answered live on the show? Go to secretmlmhacksradio.com to submit your question and download your free MLM Masters Pack.